VR. So yesterday, there was the PlayStation event, right? The big PS State of Play, whatever. And there is a new Thief game coming out. PC Gamer made an article. An all-new Thief game was announced during State of Play. But it's a VR game, so who cares? And people on Twitter, if I open up the actual Twitter post, a lot of people got, like, super defensive about it. And basically were saying, like, it's not cool to dismiss an entire industry just because it's, like, VR and stuff, right? Like, okay, boomer, this is a bad headline, you're a game journalist website disregarding a pretty large fan website. Basically, people were like, it's a weird thing to say. And the thing is, you know that I am the biggest VR fan that has ever VR fanned. Maybe you could argue that it's someone like, I don't know, Zuckerberg, who has spent like $60 billion in the industry, but no, I'm the number one, right? Right there. I have the original, not the original, the second development kit of the Oculus Rift. I've been following this stuff for a long time. And I do think, like, as a news website, this is a bad look. However, I think it's also correct. Because if you go to any of these video game showcases, anytime a VR game is showcased, most people don't care. And it's kind of like, I was looking at numbers just for my own curiosity. This is just Steam. So this isn't because, like, the Quest obviously runs by itself, right? So you're not going to get numbers from there. But if you look at a lot of these even super popular games, they usually trend downward, which indicates that they have a retention issue, right? I mean, Half-Life Alyx, it came out, it obviously was massive, and then it's just kind of like, it's kind of smooth sailing from there. But a lot of the VR games, they just don't sustain people, and I think it's not the game. I think it's the hardware. I think people just don't want to... I've said this before. I think the biggest thing with VR is locomotion. I don't think people want to jump around with a VR headset. And this is like 90% of people, I think. I think the biggest barrier for VR is putting on the headset. I haven't met a single person, minus like people who get motion sick, right? This is not a conversation about that. I think most people who play VR are like, this is the best thing ever. I love this. This is the future. And then they don't put on the VR headset for 2 days. And you ask them, do you want to play VR? They're like, hell yeah, I love VR. Let's play it. Not now, though. I'm feeling kind of tired. We'll do it tomorrow. And before you know it, it's been 6 months since they put on the headset. It's literally the action of putting on the headset and moving around. So I was thinking about this. And I genuinely think games at this point are not going to move the needle on this stuff. I think we need tech. Because, like, it's a bad headline. As a video game journalist, bad look. But at the same time, this is representative of the gaming community. Like, I genuinely think, but it's a VR game, so who cares? Captures 80-90% of the video game audience currently. And I would wager, did someone like Asmongold watch the stream yesterday? He probably did, right? We could even go to, like, his stream and see his reaction when VR was brought up. And then look at his chat. That could actually be a fun thought experiment we could do right now. The one thing that I think is a massive outlier here, and one thing that I think is very important for this conversation, is VR chat. Because a lot of people say that VR is totally dead, right? Like, VR, it's a lost cause. There's no use in pouring money into it. No. I think VR is a growing community, and I think VR is only getting better and better and better, and currently it is the biggest it has ever been. But I think VR chat is really the single place that captures the true invested hardcore VR audience. And that is trending upward. I think this is all you need to know about whether or not you should pour money into VR. This graph right here. It's a very interesting situation, because I think people who really like VR, like, they are locked the hell in, and they're buying all the new stuff. They're following along with even, like, not even the releases, but the technology behind it, right? These are people who are on Reddits and everything. And this is the audience you should be thinking about. You need to look at what they're doing and, like, how they interact with this stuff, and then extrapolate that to the rest of the gaming audience. Because VR is not dead. It is growing. But when you look at this, there is a retention issue. It's interesting that we have something like VR chat, though. Biggest thing about VR for me is one, the price. Two, the game would work fine if it wasn't VR, so it's pointless. Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that. I think like a lot of VR games, they present something that can be really presented in a flat screen setting. But I mean, your opinion is, I think like your opinion is shared by most people. I think most people would rather play a game in flat screen. And that's what I'm talking about. Like VR should be a more immersive experience where you move around, right? It's fundamentally more immersive. But people don't want to be immersed if it means jumping around your room. Because I mean, like every game would be fine if it wasn't VR, right? Like there isn't a game that could only work in VR. Most games work in flat screen perfectly fine. If anything, it's hard to translate a flat screen game to VR. But I think it's just moving around, like genuinely. And motion sickness, because motion sickness is a big thing for like first time users. I don't have a room for VR, that's the only problem for me. Again, locomotion, right? Like you have to set it up. You have to move around. You can't like knock into things. It's like a whole thing. It's just locomotion. You solve locomotion, is gonna pop off. Charlie said the same thing. He said he doesn't care. Let's do this. Let's go to Charlie's stream. Did he stream it? He probably did. I've got no idea what time it started. Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Free to take whatever I need.
More big games. It's only a net positive.
Let's see what he said.
You either play it, like it, and it gets you excited for the game. You play it, hate it, and you save yourself money.
How old the city really is.
It's a very good consumer practice.
For me, it's
When is he
all
gonna
I've known.
see that it's VR?
This is VR, so I already don't care.
Yep. Does he say anything else about it, or it's just like, I don't care? Bloodborne VR. He doesn't even say anything about it. Yeah, he literally, the only thing he said about the game is just, yeah, I already don't care. Okay, I mean, there it is. So yeah, people can meme on it however much they want. This is true. I don't want this to be true, but it is true. So in this case, I'm like, yeah, based article. I don't want it to be based, but it is. It is based. That's where the BCI comes in handy. Yes. That's what I mean. We gotta figure this out. We gotta figure this out. Imagine a whole world in VR in which you fight like in a Souls-like, but if you die in the game, you die in real life. Also, you can't lock out. I feel like a castle in the sky would be a good place. Very funny. Very funny though that a VR game is developed by a company named Vertigo. Does he have his chat open?
Positive. You either play it, like it, and it gets you excited for the game. Also good to check performance. To a certain extent, yeah.
VR equal. Look at this. VR ignore. VR trash. What have I missed? PSVR wave L. No one cares. I forgot PSVR still exists. This is the gaming community. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I do think things will slowly begin to switch though, like in the opposite direction. When people figure out proper movement and stuff, I think it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be great. Pray for Gabe to find the key. I really hope so. I really hope so. Gaben's gotta figure it out. But I already yapped about Gaben way too much last time, so we're not gonna do it again.